I hold in my hand a rare letter of Nikola Tesla. Tesla was a Serbian who came to England and then the United States to work for Thomas A. Edison. He worked for Edison for a while and they didn't get along. Edison fired him after he tried to remind Edison that he was going to pay him a certain amount on one of his inventions, which he didn't do. And Tesla went off as a competitor to him. Tesla eventually met George Westinghouse, and the two of them took on General Electric, which became the successor to Edison's inventions. And the two companies and individuals fought hard for years, Edison pushing direct current, DC, and Nikola Tesla pushing AC, alternating current. And it wasn't until the World's Fair of 1892 that the issue was settled. Up till that time, the better known of the two, Edison would put on shows such as showing an elephant dying or even a criminal who was being put to death, trying to show how dangerous AC was as opposed to DC. But it was at the World's Columbian Exposition in 1892-93 that Tesla was given the go-ahead through George Westinghouse, who was the owner of Westinghouse Electric, to light up the fair, the international fair. And so when the world saw 2 years of running safely on AC at the World's Fair, everybody turned to AC. And Tesla won the circuit war, as it was called. Unfortunately, Tesla didn't reap a lot of benefit financially out of it, and even by the later time of his life in the 1930s, this brilliant scientist was having a hard time just paying his hotel bill. He lived in a hotel in New York most of his life, most of his later years. And he had a friend by the name of Varick, G.S. Varick, who was actually a Nazi sympathizer before the war in 1932. And he wrote this letter after he accidentally nearly fried himself to death on one of his experiments. Okay? What he said to Varick was, "I do not know whether I have brought out clearly the most striking feature of my mental adventure, namely that everything I saw, heard, or felt appeared entirely new to me." This is after he zapped himself. "I never realized that I had actually lived the same life before until the final shock which shook my body like an earthquake. What I went through is not likely to be repeated, for there is not more than one individual in millions who would survive. In view of your interest, it occurs to me that if we had a brief talk, you might write an article including my letter, and perhaps an honorarium could be realized. We are two storm-toned sailors stranded on the self-same reef, and a little of the filthy lucre would be soothing in this plight." At any rate, you get the idea. And Tesla was always poor for money, unlike his competitor Edison, who seemed to get along pretty well that way. The story goes that in 1915, that the Nobel Committee wanted to award the Nobel Prize to both these gentlemen. The only problem is they wanted Edison and Tesla to share it. And the story goes that when either one of them heard that, they said, "Over my dead body," basically. And neither was, even though they earned it, neither was ever awarded the Nobel Prize.